Well, good morning, YouTube. The time has come to attempt, I will say attempt, to pull these bearings. I do think we'll be successful, but you never know. So what we do when we can't do this always, we have these pipe pieces that we made. That's just an old lock collar like I took off right there. We have several different sizes that we've used over the years. And what we've done, I'll give you a little bit of history of what I've done in the past. Here's another one. It's nothing fancy. What I've done in the past, I had a puller, got it on here, and I pulled 2 bolts on these holes, which are for pulling, but I don't like it because this will come off hard, and I have actually sprung this holder that the bearing goes in, and then had to get a new one of those. So I've had very good success on other machinery. If you can get your pulling power down here on the race that you want off, usually have pretty good success. Now this is clean. We'll make sure it's clean, and we're going to weld this fitting that we made to the bearing. This pipe actually kind of goes over the race. I think the extra heat helps directed right on the race. Then we get our puller on there and pull it off, and we're not reusing the bearing anyway. Bearing off, you have to take a cutting wheel and retrieve this piece, so it gets shorter and shorter over time, but you can just make another one. It's not hard. So that's what we're going to do. I'm going to get set up here, and I'm going to weld this on, and we're going to pull and see what happens. These have been soaking. All 4 of these have been soaking for about 3 weeks. I think this side's 3 weeks, the other side's 2. All you can do is put some oil on it right there, and they're not going to get any better. So here we go. There we go. We got one. Now we've got it attached to the dust shield there. Had to break it loose. You want it to still spin. And I'm going to put one more there, and then we will attempt to pull. My main goal is to keep the shaft intact. Okay, we have our posi lock engaged here. We have a socket over the threads here. We don't want to damage the threads because we're after to save the threads. So it's going to get loud here. I'm going to attempt to pull. Sometimes your welds break loose and you got to kind of clean up and start over. Don't know what's going to happen. This is real life, real time. The welds did break loose back here, so we will have to reseat them, plus that made it start going off crooked. And these are a challenge if you don't want to just cut everything up with a torch. So here we go again. Well, I failed, gentlemen. My method usually works. We use it so many times in the other shop and it pulls them right off. I did it on both of them, and I had good penetration there, but I literally pulled the metal apart probably from the heat penetration. And so I took the seals out. They probably used a Loctite also, so I did a preheat here. And you got to be careful. This combine's disassembled, but back there you can see it just pouring smoke out. If you had a machine all sealed up, you could burn up your machine. So I'm gonna hook back onto it again here in a minute or two and see if we can get a pull, see if it'll release. The worst case scenario, I was trying to do this with tools that you guys would have out in the field or in your shops. We don't all have the expensive pullers and things like that. We use a lot of posi lock pullers, and they always seem to fit our needs. So I was trying to use what I had that you guys would be using out there. That's going to need to cool down. I'll probably just let it completely cool, and I'm going to weld my pipe back on and see if we can get another good penetration and see if we can get it to come. Worst case scenario, I'll have to blow out a few balls with the torch, get the housing off, and then work on disassembling it and taking it out from the other side, and then we can get a press on the other one. Different things like that. So it doesn't always go according to plan. I knew these would be tough. This is good practice because we don't want to be destroying the machine we're keeping. So I thought we had a really good chance. I know welding it very well, when that shrinks back down, could even tighten it. But it's worked for us 95% of the time over in the other shop on the machines that we do for a living. And within 5 to 10 minutes you can have a bearing pulled. We've got it back under pressure. We got the puller tight. I took the little cap off so we can use the little indention there. I don't think we'll hurt the threads. We got good penetration onto the race, and they're just as hard as this is pulling. I'm convinced, because I've done it in the past, if we use those 4 screw in bolts on the flange, you just spring the flange eventually off of the bearing, and then you end up cutting it anyway. So if this is not successful, I'm going to let it cool completely down to the touch. If this is not successful, we can go blow out the balls, get the 4-bolt flange off. We'll just have the race there, and then we can gently lick it with the torch until we can get it in 2, and then it will be done. I hate to do it that way, but old farm machinery, sometimes that's all you can do. At least we're out here trying with the tools we have. It would be interesting to see if you had a puller that could put 30 tons or so on it, maybe 50, just to see what would break it loose. But it is what we got today. I went ahead and did the primitive method, and I got it out of there, but this is open. If you had this together, I keep saying that, be a different story, I do believe, with all the crop trash and stuff in there. You got to make sure you don't burn up anything. This one's still cooling down. I just said I might as well get with it, see what happens. We are just doing test runs for the one we're keeping. So blowed the balls right out of it. The shaft is not damaged, and we'll take the 4-bolt flange off now. I've got the 4-bolt flange loose now, and we will put that off of there. There we go. It's not damaged. It can be cleaned up and a new bearing go in it, because all we did was torch them. There's one way. We've got it. We can do that to the other side, take that out, feeder will come out whole. And this one has not done a thing. Probably will end up doing the exact same thing right there. Well, I am just going to get with it and get these things blowed out and see what we can do. Flames are coming back at it because of the dome on the other side. I don't like what it does to a torch tip, but we ain't got much choice. Got them all blowed. A couple down here on the bottom I can get. And then after we'll be ready to pull the right or wrong, that's what we did today. Bearings out now. So, there we go. Not my most favorite thing to do. Now I am heating the race up, and I'm hearing some popping. I believe it's sliding directly on the race. I haven't even started to tighten it yet, any more than it already was. We got her right there. That was a struggle to the very end. We'll get cleaned up here and take a look and inspect at what we have. One thing that maybe was working against me was trying to pull off of these bolts at the same time. I don't know. I wouldn't have thought that would have affected it. There we go. We didn't blow through the black back shield. I'll get you off the tripod here. We definitely had, I don't know that it will affect the shaft, the heat or not, but we will have us a shaft if we ever lose one. Let me get you off the tripod. You can see there was some rust in there. But we didn't blow through the back side, that was good. And we didn't discolor the combine too much, so if we have to resort to these tactics on the other one, we can, and we kind of know what's going to happen, what the results will be. So, moving along, the race is still on that one. We could weld onto it and probably pull it too, and we might do that yet. Well, I was heating the race up on a preheat, and I was going to weld back to it, and all of a sudden I just heard a pop and she cracked. So that's sweet. We'll just see if we can get us a cold chisel and crack her off, and the shaft will be saved and save a lot of time. As I was saying, I was heating this and it cracked, so then I was able to put a cold chisel right in there, and voila! So you can see the rust that was definitely on there, and we succeeded today, but it fought us every step of the way. And I was using the tools that a normal farmer would have. And that was my goal, to help you not become defeated. Today has been a long day. I've been at this about 4 hours, and I've only half done, but it is what it is. Thank you for watching. Like, share, and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one.